Welcome to A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. My name is Kristen.
And my name is Katie, and we want to spend a few minutes a day with you walking through the New Testament, one chapter at a time. This year, we will fix our gaze upon Christ so that we may know him, not only with our minds, but with our hearts.
Together, we will learn that who Jesus is changes everything.
Hey, welcome back to A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. My name is Katie, and together we are walking through Revelation in our year-long study of the New Testament. Today, we are studying Revelation 16. As always, you can follow along with the Behold studies in the Daily Grace Co-shop or with the reading plan linked in the show notes. Yesterday, we met 7 angels who were given 7 bowls of God's wrath to pour out upon the earth. These bowls will complete God's wrath and make way for Christ's return. Our chapter today outlines these 7 bowls. Like the trumpets, some of these plagues will remind us of the Egyptian plagues we read in Exodus. While the trumpets affected a third of the earth, the bowl judgments will affect all of those who have the mark of the beast and worship his image, as well as all of creation. The first bowl strikes worshippers of the beast with painful sores. This bowl mimics the 6 plagues in Egypt when festering boils covered the Egyptians and their cattle. The second bowl reminds us of the second trumpet and echoes the first plague of Egypt. Yet, in the second trumpet, a third of the sea became blood, but with the second bowl, all of the sea, 70% of the earth's surface will become blood, and the sea creatures will die. The third bowl also reminds us of a trumpet. In the third trumpet, a third of the world's water supply became bitter, another reference to the first plague of Egypt. With the third bowl, springs and rivers on earth became blood. There was no more fresh drinking water available. Within this same plague, the angel of the water praises God for delivering his just wrath. Likely the water that the beast worshippers will drink is symbolic of the Christians that they martyred. The fourth bowl is the antithesis of the 9th plague of Egypt, when darkness covered the sky. This time, with the fourth bowl, the sun will scorch the people with fire. Rather than turn to God in their pain, the people will reject him again. They will blaspheme his name and refuse to repent. Their hardened hearts may remind you of Pharaoh's. With the fifth bowl, God does bring darkness. The throne of the beast and its kingdom is plunged into darkness. The people, still in great pain from their sores and possibly the burns from the sun, will still blaspheme God and refuse to repent. The sixth bowl turns the tides and begins preparation for what some call the Battle of Armageddon. This will be the battle between good and evil when Satan will rally his troops by sending demons to deceive kings and kingdoms. The sixth bowl makes way for Satan's troops to gather. The Euphrates River, also the eastern boundary of the Roman Empire, will dry up and make way for kings of the east to join the forces. Christians of John's time would have understood this as being the Parthians who commanded the empire on the other side of the Euphrates. It's possible that the nations believe that they are being gathered to take down Rome or Babylon, but are instead being gathered by God for their final defeat. In the midst of the deceived kings and kingdoms gathering, God delivers a warning to John's audience. Stay alert and clothed. They are to be ready, clothed in holiness, so that they may be prepared for this day of judgment. Finally, this brings us to the 7th bowl, which declares God's arrival. The bowl is poured out into the air, and a loud voice announces, "It is done." Signs of God's presence, thunder, lightning, and an earthquake shake the world. But this time, the earthquake devastated the earth. Enormous hailstones fell from the sky onto people. Babylon, the great city, split into 3 parts. Babylon finally drank the cup of God's wrath. Upon the 7th bowl, Jesus' time to return has come. So, how do we worship Jesus from today's chapter? All the bowls poured out make way for Jesus to come and conquer the enemy. We can read the account of nations gathering against God, and we cannot be afraid. We do not have to fear. We know who wins. We know that Satan's efforts will ultimately be in vain. We know that Jesus is far greater. He's far more powerful. He is our fierce warrior and our faithful friend. Our comfort in today's chapter is that we know the end of the story. We know that Jesus will finish all that he began and establish his kingdom in full forever. If you have a hard time reading judgments, rest assured that peace is coming. God is ridding the world of evil and chaos so that rest may abound. I don't know about you, but I am anxiously awaiting Revelation 21, when God will finally wipe the tears from our eyes and dwell with humanity. There is good ahead.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. Don't forget to check out the show notes for helpful links and resources related to today's episode. And make sure you are following at Daily Grace Podcast on Instagram for more A Year in the Bible content, and at the Daily Grace Co. for all things Bible study resources. We can't wait to study again with you tomorrow. Bye, friends.